There's certain things that you can't put to words that you can express through being creative. I had this idea, I was like, I would love to just rent a garage space, an open, safe, welcoming space that people could come and be creative at.
The way I felt when I came into this shop, it was like open arms. I felt comfortable right away, and I know I could speak to people who care.
When Adam kind of proposed this idea of woodworking and mentorship coming together in this community space, we thought about Gloucester and the community itself. It was clear to us that this would be a great opportunity to do it here.
My name is Adam Quinn. I am the co-founder and the president of the Cornerstone Creative. We are a youth mentorship nonprofit that focuses on job training, life skills training, and hands-on learning. Growing up in a family with a bunch of kids in West Gloucester was just like amazing. My father is one of the handiest men I've ever met. So growing up with very hands-on, do-it-yourself type parents kind of instilled a lot of creativity, and naturally I took on to that through woodworking. That's something that's been really common throughout being raised by someone who was so handy. It was, you know, the product is great, the process is awesome, but the time spent together for me was really important. Connecting with people just seemed so much easier when your hands were busy.
My name is Katie Quinn, and I am a co-founder here at Cornerstone Creative. I grew up on the coast of New Jersey, and then I came up to the Boston area for college, and I ended up falling in love with the area and also with someone from the area.
I met Katie my junior year, and not to sound corny, but my world just like exploded. As we dated, I knew right away, I was like, I have to marry this girl. We went overseas. We worked in the Canary Islands together. We ran a bed and breakfast for surfers, which was a great experience. When we came back, she knew she wanted to work as a social worker. It was like, I just want to work with youth, and I'd love to be that constant, steady presence in a teenager's life. We had this idea, what if we started some sort of youth program?
We saw an emerging need in the community for, safe places for teenagers to go.
One night I had this dream, and I woke up the next morning and I just had this idea. We're trying to start this thing. We don't even know what it is. And I've had this idea forever of starting a communal workspace. Like, what if we paired those two together and made a workshop for youth that is focused on woodworking, but more importantly, focused on the youth that is here.
The process of kind of turning the dream into a reality was all brand new for us. Adam is a woodworker and has connected with people through woodworking throughout his whole life.
We use woodworking as our avenue to reach the youth. We want to target those kids. We want to give them a place that they feel like with no restrictions they can access. We asked a few of the neighborhood kids if they wanted to be our first pilot program. And they said, yeah, they were 13 and 14 years old. I got a phone call from a family friend, and he called me up and was like, hey, I've been following along what you're doing on social media, and I think it's so great. Have you ever heard of Straight Ahead Ministries? I was like, no, I haven't. Straight Ahead Ministries is a pretty large nonprofit, and they do what's called re-entry programs for juveniles. They set them up with employment and job training opportunities. They brought a crew here, and within 20 minutes of them being here, it was like, oh my gosh, this is what this shop was designed for.
We have teenagers who kind of come into the shop who might not have ever connected in a traditional setting somewhere else.
We are their full-time job training and placement site. And a lot of these guys are coming from broken homes or gang involved. A lot of them lack any sort of work experience. Giving a test run and learning what it looks like to really be a good employee without the risk of getting fired is kind of the goal of this program. And so when they get the opportunity to come here, you really get to see who they are for who they are, which is amazing, sweet, kind kids.
My name is Nathan. I've worked here for maybe about 4 years now.
Nate has been a part of our program since we very first started with Straight Ahead Ministries.
The first day I would say I met Adam, it was my first time coming here ever to Gloucester. I came in and I had a conversation with Adam. We talked for maybe like an hour and a half.
started as a 14-year-old who was not in school, but he had this whole life, this lived experience that was just hard.
When I think about someone like Nate, who's been with us for a few years, Nate had a lot of life behind him, but he had way more life ahead of him.
Nate has just been consistently working on himself. He has a baby at home. He's, trying to work part-time in addition to being here to make ends meet.
My son turned 9 months on the 15th of this month. The way these guys make sure we're good is how I want to be with everybody. These guys really taught me how to open up and express and talk about how I feel.
When I think about success, I think about someone like Nate who's found a place to land.
The way he's motivated to be here every day and the way he is constantly reflecting on where he's at currently in his life.
That'll be one thing my son could take away from me being here and looking back on and being like, you did work hard. You wasn't just standing around, you know what I'm saying? You did more than work.
So to have a space where you can just be 100% yourself, feel like you have so much freedom to fail and not be embarrassed about it or ashamed, but use that as a building block to grow from, it creates this really unique little community.
I can be coming in here and, open arms. Everybody's here to learn and everybody's here to listen. That's a big part in here is like that family role.
At the end of the day, you might not have spoken very much, but the end product is a beautiful thing.